Good afternoon, Crooked Gap Farm. Whoa! Good afternoon, beginning farmer friends. It is absolutely beautiful this afternoon. I don't know what the temperature is, but I've got a sweatshirt on. There's a strong breeze today, but it is a cool breeze as opposed to the warm breezes that we've been having lately. And tomorrow, chickens go to the processor. Our last batch of chickens go to the processor, so I'm gonna go water them for the last time, and I'm gonna get ready. So tonight when I get home from robotics, we can load them in the trailer and be ready to leave somewhere between 4 and 4:30 in the morning. I can water the chickens today, but I can't feed them, which is why they are going nuts following me around. But the processors like their crop to be clean and as empty as possible, although with the pasture raised chickens like we have here, there is a bunch of grass in there still, which I find awesome, but I don't know what the processors think of that. I think the best way to describe my relationship with our meat chickens right now is complicated. Kind of like trying to take this fence down while they're climbing all around me and clamoring because I can't feed them today. I like the way we raise them, although we do need a little bit better infrastructure. Feeding them, we've kind of got that down. Water system, again, with a little better infrastructure, that will come along too. I'm not worried about how to do that. It's just a process of doing it. Selling them is great. In fact, I absolutely love selling them. People love the fact that we have chickens. The complicated part is processing them. That's where things get a little bit difficult. You've heard me talk about it before if you've listened to the channel, but there is one processor in the state of Iowa that does official processing that allows us to sell at a farmer's market or to restaurants, and that's a big deal for us to be able to do that. So the relationship that I have with chickens, complicated. Complicated like this. Here's the plan. I'm gonna hook this stock trailer up to the green truck. I'm gonna throw coolers in up here, and the next time you see me, it's probably gonna be dark. We're gonna be loading chickens into the back of it. I'm gonna bring you along for the ride. It is now 9:30 p.m. It is dark. I have to leave at about 4:30, maybe a little bit before. Right behind me here is the chicks, or the meat chickens, I guess I should say. They're in the shed. Behind me over here where the flashlight is the stock trailer. I've got straw down in there. I'm gonna put them in the back of the stock trailer. I've got coolers in the front hooked up to the truck. We are ready to go. We're gonna load the chickens. We're gonna go to bed. We're gonna get up early. We're gonna take them up to the processor. All right, that's it. I don't know if you'll be able to see me, but it is 9:52 right now. We got all 200-ish birds captured. They are in the trailer. It only took 22 minutes, but it seemed like a lot longer. Good morning. It is dark. I'm not a morning person. It's 50 degrees, 4:30 in the morning, and we are headed 3 hours or so north to chicken processing. So we need to have the chickens there by 7:30 a.m. We should be right on time. We will unload them when we get there, and the nice thing about this processor, and actually most chicken processors that we've used, is that you can just kind of wait around or, you know, come back within 4 or 5 hours and they will have them processed. So hopefully that's the case for us this morning. We're gonna get them processed, pick them up, bring them back home, and then we will have chicken again ready to sell. So let's drive and stay awake. That's it, Martson's Farm Poultry Processing. We just unloaded 225 chickens in about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes to load them, 30 minutes to unload them. Not so bad. Hopefully it takes less than 30 minutes to put them in the coolers. Now what we're gonna do is head out to the city. I call it the city because it's Charles City. We're gonna get some dry ice, hang out for a little bit, come back here at noon. I just want to give a big shout out to Martson's Farm Poultry Processing. They're doing a great job for us, and being they're the only ones in the state of Iowa, we are super thankful for them right now, that's for sure. What's the old saying? The waiting is the hardest part. Right now, we're on the waiting game. We've located the dry ice. We picked up some paper towels to make sure the coolers are all cleaned out. And now we're just waiting. This is the Cedar River here. I think the Cedar River in Charles City. Cedar River actually goes through my hometown as well, Cedar Falls. But apparently this is like a whitewater course. So I don't know, maybe next time I come to process chickens, I can do some whitewater kayaking. Sounds like the thing to do, I think. Chicken processing and whitewater kayaking. There is a library right up the hill too, which typically is the type of place that I go because you can go there, get some work done, but I didn't know what kind of restrictions they had today with everything going on. So it's getting close enough now. We're about 20 minutes away from pickup, or from the place where we pick up. A 20-minute drive. We're about an hour away from pickup. I think we're just gonna go get our dry ice, go there, clean out the coolers. That way we'll be ready to go as soon as possible. You know how I said waiting was the hardest part? We're still waiting. There was a little mix-up and communication on when the chickens would be ready, and so now we're waiting. We're exploring lovely downtown Green, Iowa. I don't know if you can see that back there, but there's a sign or a mural that says Green. Green, if you are in the know, is actually where the King Corn film was made. That's where the two guys came and lived, or this is where the two guys came and lived. I don't know where they lived. I'm looking around seeing apartments. Maybe they lived in one of the apartments, but it's pretty cool. Right over there is the Shell Rock River. Down here, it's Main Street Green. Not a lot going on today, but you know, it's the middle of the day on a Tuesday, so probably not a lot to go on. We've washed out our coolers. Now we're just hanging out until it's time to go pick up the chickens. I guess we're going to wait a little bit longer. We're done. I didn't bring the camera out. I totally forgot about it. I'm sorry. You missed us moving chickens from one container to our coolers. We put dry ice on them. We are headed home now. It is 1 o'clock. So if you are scoring along at home, we dropped the chickens off at 7:30 after getting up at 4 o'clock. We picked them up at 1 o'clock, and we will get home approximately between 4 and 4:30 p.m. today. It's difficult to get chickens processed. Let's just say that. It's difficult to get chickens processed, and it all adds to that complicated relationship that I have with chickens. I'll tell you a little bit about that as we travel. Now that I've had about an hour of driving, I think I know where I stand on chickens. I will say this, chickens are more labor intensive, that is for sure. If you look over my shoulder right now, that is like a really big hog manure injector. Crazy. Anyways, this is where I stand with chickens. They are pretty labor intensive. I mean, even compared to the pigs or compared to the cattle or the sheep, the chickens take the most amount of time. Whether it's the egg layers that my daughter so graciously works hard on, or it's the meat chickens, they take a lot of time. There's moving them. Even with our free range system or day range system with meat chickens, compared to like a Soliton style or a Siskovich style where you're moving them in pens daily, it just takes time for feeding and for watering. There are things that I think I can do better to work on my efficiency, I guess, to make the lean system more lean. I kind of talked about it when I was talking about the egg layers in a video a while back. But it is what it is, I think, when it comes to meat chickens. They are a little more labor intensive. The processing is a little more labor intensive, even though I don't do the processing like some farmers do. It's further away, it takes quite a bit of time. Even though we can do it in one day, it still takes quite a bit of time to do. I guess I would say that it is not as an efficient as animal to raise as, say, pork or beef or maybe even lamb, although I'm kind of on the fence on lamb right now. But this is what it comes down to. It's pretty popular. I have a lot of people, when we are doing the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market, come up to our stand, ask if we have beef, and we very rarely have beef. I tell them that we have pork, and they're like, I don't really eat pork. But most people that don't eat pork do eat chicken. And so it goes to, you know, kind of show me how popular chicken is. So I talked to the processor. I kind of asked them when they get going again in the spring. I've got my directions going here. When they get going again in the spring, and it sounds like if I bring a big enough batch, you know, 200 to 300 chickens, which I would want to bring if I'm going to drive all the way up here, it sounds like they would be able to do a batch for us before the start of market season, which for us starts in May. So tentatively, without talking to my family, without thinking about infrastructure, if I work at the infrastructure details, if it makes sense for us financially and, you know, just sustainably as a family and as a farm to do, chickens kind of make sense, at least from the customer demand popularity standpoint. So that's where I stand for right now. All of this is subject to great amounts of change. Great amounts of change. That's what I meant to say. We made it home 4 o'clock, so pretty good time. I got up 12 hours ago. I would say This process is going to be about a 12.5-hour process from the time that I get up in the morning till the time that we're done unloading. 12.5 to 13-hour process. That is for 225 chickens, 12.5 hours. It takes a little bit of time. Let's unload them. Freezers are full, and this is what I love to see. I've got thermometers, or I've got an app on my phone, but this one says 28. I just closed the door on that one so it'll go down. This one says 12. The others are at like 10 degrees right now, so we are headed in the right direction when it comes to the freezers. That's what I like to see. As long as it's cold like that, I know that those birds will be dropping in temperature quickly. We'll get them frozen, and then we'll go through, we'll sort them, we'll stack them, because later this week, Friday, hopefully, we're going to be bringing more meat back, this time pork. So it's just kind of a never-ending cycle here in the freezer room. Thank you all so much for coming along on the chicken ride with me today. I'm looking out here where the chickens last were, and it's just crazy to think that there's no chickens there anymore. They're in the freezer. Everything that we have in the freezer, that's all we're gonna have this year. Of course, you heard me already talking about plans for next year. They're up in the air. You know, I've got a plan, but it's subject to change, as with all things. Now, I'm going to take that chicken building, and turn it back into a farrowing building. We've got a couple sows that we're going to try to farrow this winter, and we're going to try to use that. We've used it before successfully. It's got some creep areas, so I really don't have to do anything to turn it back into a farrowing building. I just got to put pigs in it. So that's what the plan is for that building. All sorts of things going on at the farm. So thank you guys all for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, all of that good stuff. I really appreciate you all so very much. I don't know what to say. Have a good day. Have a great day. Ah, man, that was a long day. How about that? That was a long day.